That's my gimmick. I haven't done any fragrance reviews in a while, so I'm gonna do just a handful, just to get them out of the way because long time coming, right? I'm gonna do five gourmand fragrances, kind of just impressions, review or whatever, I guess. I guess because it was Valentine's Day. I guess just because I tend to like gourmand fragrances. Anyway, so the first one I'm gonna do, give my little review impression on is Pure Tonka. Obviously, that came out I think last year. Did it come out? Maybe even 2 years ago now. Anyway, what did I get out of Pure Tonka? Basically, the beginning out of this, I got out of the beginning starts off like something kind of like something like Rokas Man or New Harlem, but I actually get a lot more actual noticeable coffee smell out of Pure Tonka than something like Rogas Man or New Harlem. And then as it starts to transition, the tonka bean comes out, and the tonka bean in this is so buttery that they may as well have just listed butter as a note. Like it's so thick, I can see that if you put too much of this on at some points, it might even get a little bit queasy because really it's just the tonka bean in this is just so the mixture of it is just so buttery. It's just extremely, extremely gourmandish. And then after that, it dries down into the kind of like your variation of the Amen DNA. So basically, like I said, starts off like something like a Rokas Man or a New Harlem, but a much more coffee kind of version of it, like a Starbucks kind of drink, whatever you want to call it. I actually think it smells, and I like something that smells like coffee, so I actually enjoyed this. Kind of makes me think this is what pure coffee should have been. But then it starts to dry down. The tonka bean starts to come out, and the tonka bean is super buttery, almost to the point you may as well say butter is a note. And then you get the Amen DNA. Compliment wise, I have gotten compliments on this. Um, Not quite as many as say something like New Harlem, because actually New Harlem is one of those fragrances I've said before that even for a perhaps potentially novelty fragrance, the people that like New Harlem, I have a lot of people telling me that New Harlem is the best thing they've ever smelled when I've been wearing. Like, what are you wearing? This is the best thing I've ever smelled, right? Some people I do get the kind of like, you smell good, but I wouldn't want to smell like a fragrance like that, but generally very positive. Pure Tonka, I have gotten a lot of compliments on, but strangely enough, I have had a couple people say that at first they thought it was like too strong, which I think it must be like the butteriness. Because like I said, even me myself when I've worn it, I'm like, man, if I put too much of this on, it might make me a little bit queasy, right? It's just so strong. And strangely, I have had a couple people like smelling on one arm to the other that they actually liked Pure or New Harlem, but they didn't like Pure Tonka, which is kind of strange because you would think that they're similar enough that you shouldn't be on one side of the spectrum. I think maybe just like a little few steps down. But I have had a couple people say that basically they thought that Pure Tonka was just too strong. But in general, I have gotten a lot of compliments on it. So, and I actually get a noticeable coffee smell out of it too for a while. So that's a thumbs up for me. The next one. What else did I write down here? Coco Blanc. I'm gonna try to make this one a little. Oh, performance on Pure Tonka. Like most Amen kind of stuff is generally pretty good, right? So Coco Blanc. What did I get out of this? I'm gonna say that I think like this is described as like the sexiest gourmand fragrance, right? I will say I will admit it's a sexy, potentially sexy fragrance. Like I can imagine someone wearing this. I can imagine like a girlfriend wearing this and having sex with them, right? But my qualm with it would be in terms of gourmandish, the gourmand aspect of it. I think it's a little bit for someone like me that loves sweet stuff. I was a little bit disappointed. I'm gonna try to make it sound. I'm gonna try to give this a vibe though, so you can kind of try to like imagine it, if you will, because especially too, it's like very expensive. So I feel like when something is expensive, you gotta have something a vibe in mind to make it more interesting, right? To like kind of make it more incentive to make it worth it, right? So I would describe something like Coco Blanc in maybe two ways. Imagine you were just in a sauna, right? And so you got that kind of warm, woody kind of smell around you, I guess, right? Like musk is in the air. You leave the sauna, then you go into your bathroom that is also wooden, right? All wood, whatever, right? And you go in the bath and you soak in the bubble bath. And on the side of the bubble bath, you have like a cup of like spicy tea or something, right? and you have some candles lit, like a vanilla candle. Do you know what I mean? Like a white chocolate candle, maybe. So you got that kind of just aromas in the area of that kind of muskiness because you're just taking a hot, sweaty sauna bath shower thing going on. You got a little bit of like the tea and spices in the area. You got some kind of like sweet vanilla-ish candle, white chocolate in the background. And it's just that kind of like mixture of an aroma with that woody smell. But it's not necessarily super, I didn't get as much, gourmand aspect out of it as I would have liked. The second kind of like perspective maybe you could take of it is imagine you and your friends are taking a vacation like in a log cabin, right? You go to the log cabin, right, and you walk into this log wooden cabin with this sweet woody smell, and you see everyone was eating dessert and they forgot to invite you. And so all that you see on the plates left is all your friends, they ate all your ice cream. And you can smell like a faint hint of smell of the ice cream and caramel that is left, right? Because they just didn't fucking save any for you because they're assholes. So all you can smell is like the sweet kind of woody smell from the lodging that you're staying in, and you just get hints of that kind of chocolate, white chocolate, I should say. I would almost say cocoa butter, really, more than chocolate, but and vanilla, and kind of maybe they're drinking tea or something, right? But that's kind of the perspective I'm trying to give you. So yeah, there's some vanilla, some like sweet woody kind of smell. There's this musk, cocoa butter, white chocolate, but it's those kind of aspects of it are very faint. I would actually describe it as a sweet woody scent, right? Longevity was okay, but projection was pretty not very good, right? So you got to douse yourself in this, and it's very expensive. I will agree. I can see it being sexy, but the gourmandish aspects of it are a little lacking for me. But smells nice, but a little misleading, if you get what I'm saying. But again, sweet woody smell, sexy. You know what I mean? I'll agree with that. I can say that. Next one, Dame Chocolate Man, right? This only had one note, just chocolate in it, right? And I'm gonna agree, just very heavy chocolate. Some people think it smells like Nutella. Chocolate, Nutella, whatever, right? I think this smells good, right? I like simple scents. I love sweet vanilla. I like dolces and fundo. Geez, amber absolutis. Dude, I like tobacco vanillas. Maybe not very complicated. I like simple scents. Dame Chocolate Man does not bother me. You know what I mean? But I would say it is probably so simple and novelty-ish, some people probably won't like it, right? Now, and I say that because I have not had very good reactions to this while actually wearing this. I think it smells good, but when I've worn this, reaction has been pretty mixed and not all positive, right? I have had some people definitely tell me that just, hey, this is just too novelty. This is just too chocolate. It's not interesting enough. People that have liked when I've worn chocolate greedy, this one did not work for them, right? So compliments wise on this, they were pretty mixed. And I'll actually say as well, kind of interesting to some of the people when I've read reviews online that didn't like it, they're like, they thought it smelled old for some reason. And I don't think it smells old, but I will agree that, and I should say in person, some people thought that I smelled old too, like old chocolate. And I don't think it smells old, but if you go from the perspective of imagine you are making some chocolate and imagine when someone baking brownies or something or whatever they're doing, right? And there's some like burnt chocolate on the pan that is left, right? Do you know what I mean? Like kind of burnt. So in that sense, it's old chocolate, right? I can see that. I can see it being leftover chocolate, wasted chocolate, if you will. So in terms of being old from that perspective, I can visualize it being old like that. Again, I like it simple. Do you know what I mean? Performance, again, for this one for me was just, pretty much just a skin scent that lasted. I didn't get great projection out of it or anything. Compliment wise was very iffy when I wore this. People were like, too novelty, really. Some people thought even some kind of old, which is weird because I actually saw that online as well. Some people liked it, but in general, still, I have had people tell me they like when I wear chocolate greedy, but this, I was not getting a lot of positive reaction like that. But again, I like it. So I'm not talking shit about you, dude, or anything like that. So don't worry, but just keeping it real, right? Maybe a better scent for layering if you're one of those people that layer a lot, right? What would be the next scents I'm gonna do? Okay, Café Cacao. I think I've had a sample of this for like years. I just have never done a review on it. From Voyage, Perfumes or whatever. I would say that this one, I'm kind of surprised it hasn't gotten more talk in the community because it has that kind of dusty, dry, chalky kind of aspect to it that a lot of people in the fragrance community seem to like, and I don't like. But there is a bit of an aspect to that of this. I would almost say I actually got it because Cafe Cacao. When I was thinking of it, I was thinking, oh, sweet coffee. I love fucking. I want a fucking fragrance that really makes me think of coffee. And definitely, you can pick up a bit of every note in this fragrance. But if you like coffee like me, I would not sample this thinking that it's a coffee fragrance or a cafe fragrance. I would think of it as a chocolate fragrance if you're sampling it, just to say. But again, there's a bit of a dry, dusty kind of vibe to it. But when you smell deeper into it and you take in different breaths, depending on how much you're taking in, there is that really thick, great, more chocolatey smell, right? So there's that other kind of chocolate smell. And it kind of reminds me of one of my other favorite chocolate scents, that amber chocolate from La Vida de Perfumo, whatever it is. Like, and I love that one, right? That one has that fucking almost like animalistic chocolate with amber, and it's just, that one's great, right? That's very gourmandish, and if it wasn't so expensive and was easier to get, I would definitely have more of it, right? But so I would say Cafe Cacao. Again, you can smell a little bit of every note in it, and so there are different aspects to it. But in general, think of something like maybe if you took something like say Slumber House's Ore, the chocolate in that, and then you drizzled, like imagine it's a chocolate bar, right? So imagine if two fragrances were a chocolate bar. Slumber House's Ore as a chocolate bar, and then you drizzle maybe La Vida, man, I'm gonna say it, whatever, amber chocolate, that one. Drizzle that over the chocolate bar and you break it. So depending on where you're smelling, how much you're taking it in, you're getting those two fragrances kind of combined, right? So if you smell those, I think this one smells good. Performance on this one, from what I've worn, has been pretty good. I haven't worn it a lot to say if it gets good compliments. Like, I would love to just, a lot of these perfumes, these niche things, you can't just easily go out in public because, they're not just at Sephora or something, right? But I would love to have, like, just get all these chocolate ones in a row, have people smell them to see what they like, but it's just not that easy. But yeah, I've had some people say they like this one, right? And the last one, I'm gonna do one that's been getting like a lot of hype in the community this past year. I'm gonna do that Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo or whatever. This one, I think it kind of starts off like as a. I know a lot of people are talking about this one. They're excited for it because they get like a tiramisu thing. Now, some people have also been saying they think of this as a coffee fragrance. Admittedly, I'm gonna say anytime I've ever had tiramisu, which is not a lot, but I have. I had not really thought of coffee whenever I've had tiramisu, cake or anything. I really just thought of tiramisu. I'm not thinking of like cake. I mean, I'm not thinking of coffee. I'm thinking of cake whenever I've had it, right? Coffee is not the first thing that comes to mind. So in that aspect, I guess, I don't really think of this either as a coffee fragrance, as some other people have said. I do smell like the tiramisu in it, but even I myself, when I've had tiramisu, I do not think of like, wow, fucking coffee, right? Anyway, but I think this one starts off with a kind of strange, there's something strange about this to me. Starts off with like a bubblegum smell almost, right? But there's this like black pepper, and black pepper is definitely a note that can rub you the wrong way sometimes. And it almost smells like maybe there's some kind of like a almost roasted bubble gum or burnt bubble gum, so there's something strange about it to me. Maybe I'll have to wear it more and more, I guess, but maybe the black pepper is making it smell kind of strange, or maybe almost if you could imagine stale bubble gum. If you had some kind of like sweet bubble gum that went stale, or pop goes flat. Imagine the bubble gum went flat. There's something just off about it to me. Maybe it's like this like woody note in it, this cashmere wood note. There's something a little bit strange about the bubblegum note to it at the beginning. It smells good, but it smells a little strange if you take too much of it in. Then it starts to dry down into this really thick, sweet kind of tiramisu cake kind of thing, you know what I mean? Mixture mixing it with this, like maybe just like, man, maybe like some kind of frosting is right in your nose. Like this is definitely something I could think that if I were to spray too much and take too much in, again, because there's something kind of off about it to me. It smells good, but again, something is off. I don't know, like the scent went flat or the scent went stale. I'm not sure how to explain it. I'm not saying I hate it. I love sweet scents. I actually do like this too, but something is flat or stale about it or off to me. And there's almost like the beginning has almost a burnt or a roasted note. It's strange. But again, so kind of like a bubblegummy tiramisu kind of like, vibe. And the ending though is much more woody, like a sweet kind of woody thing. So there's definitely like stages to this whatsoever. I would not say it's when it's in the skin scent stage, it definitely loses that tiramisu thing, and you have like a sweet kind of like, not a one-dimensional scent actually, if you will, but it is very sweet. So I would think that people that don't like sweet scents, unless you enjoy the novelty of the tiramisu note, if you will, I would say that this is probably too sweet, right? I have gotten compliments on this. Performance is just okay though, but yeah, I definitely got compliments on this. Anyway, wow, I just did 5 fucking fragrances, guys. Anyway, keeping my channel active. I have other stuff to do. I want to do that Grand Soir because that's actually probably my most complimented scent, along with Calvin Klein Reveal actually this winter. So a lot of compliments on that. Trying to keep my channel active, guys. Thanks for watching the end.